such a pleasure to be here to represent Zoom and to be invited to speak here at CMX. So let's dive into it. I'm honored to talk about how we built and are scaling our community here at Zoom. So before diving into the goodness of that topic, I always love to give some context to who am I? Where do I come from? So as mentioned, my name is Alexis Brown. I am originally from Santa Cruz, California. I know that that's not too far away from some folks attending CMX in person, or I know there's a lot of Bay Area representation virtually as well. So Santa Cruz is my hometown. I absolutely loved it there. About 6 years ago, hopped in the car, came to Colorado and never looked back. Love Colorado. I'm in a town called Broomfield, right in between Denver and Boulder. So in terms of my career, I've spent a decade doing specifically community management. I have had the privilege of being able to run all different types of communities, employee communities, partner communities, customer communities, etc., under the wonderful label listed here. When I collaborate with fellow community managers, I always kind of wonder, what platforms are we all utilizing? And I listed here some of the ones that I have a wealth of knowledge with. Excuse me, I'm battling a little bit of a cold here, so sorry, I'm catching my breath. So I have a wealth of experience utilizing Jive, Salesforce Community Cloud, Vanilla Forums, and Chorus. I also love to share some of my personal interests here. So to get to know me better, I am a Peloton enthusiast. I am a lover of Mexican food. If there's a Mexican food restaurant, I will go there and I will usually order nachos on the menu. I love to travel, hoping to add a lot more places to my list in the upcoming years. And as a personal passion, I love interior design. I'm constantly redesigning our house, moving furniture around, probably annoying my husband to no extent, but absolutely love interior design. So let's get into the goodness of the Zoom community. So I never like to assume that somebody knows what is the Zoom community. So if you haven't gone there yet, and I know this is a little bit salesy, I'm not trying to come from that angle, but really encourage you to go there. I am assuming a lot of folks on this call and at this event are Zoom users to some extent. I know a lot of other sessions have been talking about Zoom and the pandemic, but go there. We welcome you to come and interact with our users, community.zoom.com. When we built this community, we focused it on 3 primary pillars. This is a common theme throughout all communities. This is nothing new to probably the majority of folks tuning in today, but it's important to iterate that when we looked to create this community, we wanted to really focus on our end users. And we said, what are they looking for? They're looking for a place to find solutions. How can I use Zoom? How can I get answers to my questions? So a place in turn to ask questions as well as browsing already submitted helpful solutions. And then collaborating with peers, having that online space that we need more so than ever now in our world to connect with community members and share your product expertise. So this session is about how to build and scale a community in 12 months. I recognize that this timeline outlines about 10 months. But I like to give the context of our team's story and how we got to where we are. So no surprise, Zoom became an overnight celebrity in March of 2020 when the pandemic hit. Over that year, the Zoom team did a phenomenal job of customer support, of providing a fantastic product to our users. And about a year after the pandemic, or in full honesty, before that, months before, it was loud and clear to our team, to the teams at Zoom, that there was a major need for a Zoom community. One did not exist prior to this team joining Zoom. So in March of 2021, myself and my wonderful team joined Zoom. In a very quick few months, we were able from the ground up, select a platform, build a fantastic user interface, prioritize what we needed to include in this launch of the community. And we launched a beta community in June of 2021. We invited a certain subset of users to join this beta community, which would allow us just a short couple months to understand how are users utilizing this community? What do we need to update, fix? What are they clicking on? What is of most value to them? So over the summer of 2021, we spent those couple months quickly updating, adjusting, ensuring that we felt secure in launching this community globally, which was successfully done in August of 2021. So again, I just can't iterate enough the fantastic work that the team did in regards to joining a brand new company in March, coming together, strategizing, and within about a 5 month, March, April, May, June, July, August, 5 months, 5 month period, we launched globally to all our users. And then the last item here, which I know kind of cuts us off at the 10-month mark, but it's important to recognize that within less than 1 year, we hit 100,000 registered users. And this was truly the biggest testament to say, people are coming here and they're wanting to use this space, and all the other wonderful success metrics behind this, which I'll talk about in several slides from now, continue to be a testament to that. This was a success and that it's continuing to grow to be a success, and that users are coming here and finding value. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my community team. So I was privileged enough that when I joined Zoom, my manager understood the value that community is about the people, and it's not just about the end users, but also the folks who are running the machine. And oftentimes companies think, I'll hire one community manager and they can wear the 20 hats. I've fallen into that trap too many times, and it's not sufficient. It's not everlasting, and it's not going to help you strategize successfully how to prioritize and build out your community. So I was able to bring on board these 4 lovely folks, Virginia, Carla, Riley, and Brianna, to all be literally my left and right hands with the community to help in all the aspects that really define what a community is and how we would grow it out. So that's kind of what leads into this next slide here. And I want to spend some time really kind of massaging this out. So bear with me, we'll kind of go clockwise here in the circle. So again, how do we build and scale a community in such a short amount of time to be successful? When I sat down and was told, build a Zoom community as quickly as you can, but as efficiently, I needed to think about what were the core foundational pillars to a community using my wealth of knowledge from past experience in order to successfully strategize this out. So the first area within community that many wonderful peers have already spoken about today in all the sessions here at CMX is about analytics and measurement. It is very important to have a designated resource to be able to identify, strategize, look into the magnifying glass at how are we going to measure the success of this community? How are we going to track its growth? How are we going to establish key performance indicators? And really, because this is a customer support community, how are we going to be able to prove support deflection? How are we going to prove that this community truly is successful by definition of how we've defined it, that being a support community to our users? The second piece that was really important to focus on is gamification. Gamification to me has many meanings. For us with our community, it's truly about incentivizing our users to participate, to come back to the community, to not just be one-time visitors, and to really acknowledge our top contributors. So to honor them through our leaderboards, through giving them badges, through giving them points friendly competitions, things of that nature. And so having a designated resource on your team to solely focus on gamification will help you in the long term. Thirdly on our list is our champion program. This is something that you cannot build from day one, but it is something that you should focus on several months in. And we, in looking at our timeline, we felt that it was right to look into a champion program around that 6-month period. We did not launch it until close to the 1-year mark, but it takes time. Yes, it took us 6 months to build our champion program. What we wanted to do is we launched the community, and we needed to give our end users, especially our customers, time to build their reputation within the community, to show us that they're leaders, that they are Zoom experts, that they're asking the questions, they're jumping in and providing solutions. So a champion program also needs a designated resource. So I actually have a couple of my folks focused on the champion program. And really what our champion program does at the end of the day, those 3 bullets there, we're celebrating our top leaders. We're incentivizing them to continue doing the fantastic work that they do and truly honoring their contributions. The 4th item here is the user interface. This is honestly, in my eyes, one of the most important items that I feel is very undermined with a community. You only have one chance to give a first impression. And so when somebody comes to your site, if they can't find what they're looking for, if they're questioning if it's even under the right brand name, is this actually a Zoom website, they're probably going to leave and not come back. So it was very important for us to partner closely with our brand team, our web design team, to ensure that we have brand consistency, that the navigation in the site is not overcomplicated. It is easy to find information. We want a good end user experience. And so we do not want to overcomplicate that experience for our users. So I can't emphasize enough the user interface. And then the last item here in terms of foundational pillars is the moderation piece, which all of my team members contribute to. It is very important for us to ensure that we have a safe and respectful online environment. And how do we do that? We ensure that we have frequently updated community guidelines, getting started guides, community terms and conditions. So kind of more of those legal aspects to things to ensure a safe environment. But also a huge piece of the moderation is ensuring that, to the best of our ability, questions get acknowledged and that content is being managed and that it is a friendly space and there's no online bullying or any of that happening within our space. So moderation certainly takes up a huge chunk of time, and it's very important to have designated resources who are those eyes and ears for you on the community. So in terms of, I kind of spoke on a lot about simplicity, making it user-friendly, not overemphasizing the community within your first 12 months. You have years to grow it out. Take your time, focus and prioritize on what your end users want. So within the Zoom community, we focused on these 5 primary areas within these past 12 months since we launched. First and foremost, Zoom. We have fantastic products. So when people come to a support online community, they're probably coming here to ask questions about our products, looking for answers, or they're Zoom experts and they want to share their knowledge. So we have our product forums. That's the meat, the heartbeat of our community. We then are also still building out our industry forums. So we are building out spaces. Right now we have education and healthcare represented, where if you are a teacher and you've been teaching in this pandemic for the past couple years online or hybrid, or you're back to in-person, share your experience, share how you successfully have used Zoom with fellow community members from across the globe. If you're a healthcare professional or even a student, same type of use case. We also are very proud of some of our annual or biannual quarterly events that we host at Zoom. So Zoomtopia or Education Summit, fun things like that. So we wanted to create welcoming spaces on the community where folks could really go to that event space, ask questions about the upcoming event, learn about the event sessions, collaborate with folks that were at the event, share feedback, all that goodness. I already talked about the champion program, but we do have a robust page within there, within the community. And that's a huge presence on our community. We want to honor those champions. We spotlight them on the champion program page with kind of leaderboards and showing off who are the specific champions. And then lastly, a partner forum. I've heard a few folks today at CMX talk about the value of partner communities, and I absolutely love that because this is a new initiative that we have launched. And I think it's important, someone else in the session mentioned, and I'll plagiarize here a bit, but the notion that partners do want to be involved. They also can be customers, and they might want to show off their expertise of their use of your products. They might have questions as well or want to share ideas. So we were honored to also include a partner forum within our community as well to make it as inclusive as we could to represent all the kind of end users that we have. So in terms of success metrics, so I'm smiling because, and you can see here on my slides, I'm kind of giving away my secret sauce here, but this isn't revolutionary. This is what a lot of folks, again, today at CMX have been talking about. A few things I want to comment on here before I dive into these 1, 2, 3 success metrics areas is that you have to go back to what is the goal of your community. That's the only way that you're going to be able to define success. Why do you have this community? What is your company trying to get out of it? What type of experience are you trying to deliver to your users? So in mentioning the first item here, I always have said from day one that community is an art, not a science. There's never going to be one specific success metric that's going to give you the golden answer to say, ta-da, we proved success in the community. It's also an art because it's changing over time. Your goals naturally should change as your company evolves, as your customer base evolves, as your brand evolves. Your measurement of success and goals will naturally change over time. So therefore, in the second item here, we really do focus on the quality of work within the community versus the quantity. And what I mean by that is, yes, of course, transparency. We do track the numbers, which I have listed, here in item 3 of our KPIs. What do we look at? But we really truly are in the first 12 months. We're focused on, are our customers happy? Are they happy when they come to the community? If they weren't happy, are they happy after coming to the community and getting answers from the questions that they're asking? So, written here, success for us has really been focused on delivering a happy experience to our customers and providing them with a platform where they can collaborate and share their solutions and find out new use cases of how to utilize Zoom. But as mentioned, of course, we do have designated resources who are monitoring our metrics, our analytics, our growth, and trying to tell the story of community through the numbers. So within the first 12 months, and I will admit this is even changing already in what we're looking at, but for the first 12 months where you're really just getting started, I would highly recommend that these are the 5 kind of primary analytics and tools of measurement that you focus on. Do you have folks that are registering, and is that number continuing to grow? Do you have people who, how many unique visitors do you have? How many total page views are there? Number of posts? How many views on your solutions? And with that, how many solutions do you have in total? I would say that the way that we have been defining success through these metrics is just the simple increase. We're not saying we have to hit X amount of benchmark or percentage. Within the first 12 months, it truly is about, is this growing and are people coming back and is the content being recycled? So my takeaway here, my last slide here is emphasizing the key learnings that I have taken and my team has taken over the past 12 months if somebody asks very simply, how do you build and scale a community within 12 months? So you must prioritize. There are so many different things that come with launching an online community. There are so many programs so many directions you could go coming to CMX and learning about all the wealth of information. If you've never built a community before, where do you start? You have to prioritize. And hopefully what you've taken away from my session with that wheel slide that I shared is those were the areas that we prioritized in. And the other programs and user groups and connections to other programs within your company, that will come. You have to give it time. So prioritizing what's of most importance. And then with that, of course, strategizing. So strategizing in regards to what is the order of prioritization, what is going to make a long-term impact. So strategy here is really key to don't just build things quickly, but build them efficiently so that they will last over time and have room to grow, which goes into my third item, ensuring that your community is growing. And how do you do that? You must listen to the end users. Are they finding what they're looking for? Are they navigating through the site successfully? Are they finding the answers that they need? Are they feeling a sense of community? Are they feeling like they have others around the world to collaborate with? And by seeing the numbers of people continuing to join the community, but also recurring visitors is where you're going to see that growth aspect happen. The last one, which I personally think is the most important area for an online community, is customer focused. And really that should probably say end user focused. Oftentimes I see too much folks come in and build a community or a website, whatever it might be, and they're so focused on their experience. What do they think is valuable? What do the employees want? How do they perceive it? That's not going to get you very far. You always have to think of the end user in mind. What is the end user looking for when they come to your community? And how can you best represent that on your site? That's going to get you the long-term satisfaction for your users. So with that being said, I hope I see you all at community.zoom.com. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. If there's any questions in the chat, Sunny, that folks have, I'm happy to stick around for a little bit and answer. But thank you so much for your time. This was fantastic.
Yeah, incredible job, Alexis. So much knowledge in that slide deck. And there were some comments about some of the visuals you put in there. And I have to agree, like very well laid out from that side. We did have a few questions if you want to hang out for a little couple minutes. First from Annie. So you mentioned gamification, and she was wondering, what tools do you use for gamification, if any, or is it built into the website, or how does that sort of function for you?
Fantastic question. So we do, I will admit, use the out-of-the-box capabilities of our hosted platform today. That kind of ties in nicely to everything I've been iterating of that gamification will grow over time. So I think if you can, and you're privileged enough to have a good platform that has the out-of-the-box tools to get you set up with just the baseline things. And when I say that, I mean badges, points, and leaderboards. I think those are kind of the three things that come to mind when I think of starting a community for gamification. If those are incorporated in your platform, use what's there, and you can look at third-party gamification later on. But I think, again, you got to prioritize what you want to use and pick and choose. You might be tight on a budget. We do use out-of-the-box gamification that comes with our community today.
Absolutely. And this kind of probably goes into a similar talk track, but do you use a separate tool for tracking the KPIs and support deflections, or using the tools that are built out of the box from the platform?
Another really great question. In full transparency, I don't know if I've ever utilized a community platform that I've solely only used their analytics, just simply from limitations, and again emphasizing that analytics is so key. So we do actually use several different tools outside of our hosted platform.
Okay, cool. From Nadine, her question is in regards to the champion program. What kind of rewards do you give them, and in what ways do you make them feel celebrated so they stay engaged?
Another really good question. I keep saying that, but they are all good questions. So a couple things. So we're really big on digital rewards. It's a big digital world nowadays. So we like to give out, community badges. Virtual backgrounds are very big at Zoom. So branded virtual backgrounds for our community and champion program. We give out fun digital certifications that folks can show off on their social sites like LinkedIn, to really honor the work that they've done. We every once in a while will send kind of surprise and delight swag type items, hint, hint, if you join. So actual, tangible branded items as well. And then there's also other things. We give them invitations to exclusive events. They get to attend monthly meetings directly with myself and my team. So if you want to chat with me more, join our champion program, and we can, would love to have you there. But so exclusive events as well, and monthly meetings, things of that nature. They're very important to us. Their voice matters, and so we like to communicate with them. We're all humans at the end of the day, so we include them in calls. We include them in our chat channels.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, that's the real benefit of a community, right? It's that sense of belonging. So it seems like all your rewards are like tailored around how you make the community member feel like they belong in the community and show off that. So I'd love that. From Steph, she was curious about what frameworks and tools do you use to give to your champions, and do they have any agreements that they sign, like kind of rules of engagement or anything like that?
Yes. So a couple things. When our champions sign up, they do have to go through a training, an online training. It's not too extensive. We're not trying to trick them, but we do. When you become a champion, you are granted special superpowers, like we like to call it, within the community. So a bit of a more elevated role than our typical end user. So, quick, I would say 10-minute training that they need to attend. And then at the end, of course, consenting to a community champion guidelines in terms of consent forms.
Absolutely. I know you're battling a little bit of a cold, so I'll ask one more question.
That's okay.
This one's from Margaret. So she says, the Zoom community is a free member user community. How do you track this same metrics with the closed community that is growing? Do you track metrics from day one based on growth? And then kind of how did you evolve your metrics process as the community was growing as well?
Yeah, so hopefully I'm interpreting this correctly, and chime in the chat and correct me if I'm misunderstanding. But so we actually never had a gated community or a locked down community. Perhaps they're alluding to when I mentioned the beta community. It was actually open. We just didn't communicate it out to any folks. So anyone technically could have gotten in there, but we did send exclusive invites and direct communications to a certain subset of our customers to quote unquote be our beta community users. But so that helped to hopefully answer the question. We've always just benchmarked our metrics from day one of our June launch. So our all-time numbers to ensure that we are inclusive of those first handful of months when we launched, and then ensuring that those are combined with the global launch that we had a couple of months later.
Awesome. Thank you, Alexis. If people have other questions or reach out to you, what's the best way for them to kind of get in touch?
Yeah, absolutely. Find me on LinkedIn. Don't be a stranger. Feel free to connect or send me a message. LinkedIn is definitely the best way to contact me.
Awesome. Thank you, Alexis. Really appreciate your time and your presentation.